There was a time when American roads rumbled with pure, untamed power. A time when Detroit built machines that weren't just cars, they were rolling thunder, wrapped in chrome and painted in colors that screamed freedom. These weren't vehicles designed by committees or calculated by computers. They were built by engineers who loved speed, styled by artists who understood beauty, and driven by people who wanted to feel alive every time they turned the key. Most of these legends have faded into memory, scattered across junkyards and private collections, lost to time and rust. But today, we're pulling back the curtain on the rarest of the rare. Today, we're looking at 10 American muscle cars so uncommon, so special, that most gearheads have never even seen one in person. These are the ghosts of the Golden Age, the unicorns of the muscle car world. Let's fire them up. Number 10, the 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. Picture this, it's 1969. And Chevrolet just built what might be the most powerful Camaro ever to roll off a production line. The ZL1 wasn't just fast, it was terrifying. Under that shaker hood sat an all-aluminum 427 cubic inch V8 engine that officially made 430 horsepower, but everyone knew the real number was closer to 500, maybe more. Chevrolet built this monster for drag racing, and they priced it so high that almost nobody could afford one. The ZL1 package cost more than 2 regular Camaros combined. Only 69 were ever made, and most went straight to the drag strip where they dominated everything in sight. These cars could run the quarter mile in under 12 seconds right off the showroom floor, numbers that still impress today. Finding one now is like finding a needle in a haystack, except the haystack is the entire country, and the needle is worth over $1 million. Number 9, the 1970 Plymouth Hemi Superbird. If you've ever seen a Superbird, you know exactly why it's on this list. That massive rear wing and that pointy nose cone made it look like something from outer space, not something you'd drive to the grocery store. Plymouth built the Superbird for one reason, to win NASCAR races, and they needed to sell a certain number to the public to qualify for competition. The car came with either a 440 cubic inch engine or the legendary 426 Hemi, an engine so powerful it became a legend all by itself. Plymouth made about 1,920 of them, which sounds like a lot until you realize how many have been wrecked, rusted away, or hidden in barns over the past 50 years. Dealers actually had trouble selling these things when they were new because they looked so wild and unusual. Some dealers even removed the wing and nose cone just to move them off the lot, destroying what made them special in the first place. Today, a Hemi Superbird in good condition can sell for $500,000 or more, and every single one is treated like the piece of American racing history it truly is.
Number 8, the 1970 Chevelle SS 454 LS6. In 1970, the muscle car wars reached their absolute peak, and Chevrolet decided to build the most powerful Chevelle ever. The SS 454 with the LS6 engine was rated at 450 horsepower, making it the strongest engine ever put in a Chevelle from the factory. This wasn't some stripped-down race car, it was a full-sized family car that could embarrass Corvettes at stoplights. Chevrolet only made about 4,475 of them before new emissions laws and insurance companies started crushing the muscle car dream. The LS6 engine was a work of art, with a solid lifter camshaft, rectangular port heads, and an 800 CFM Holley carburetor that gulped fuel like it was going out of style. These cars came with a cowl induction hood that would open up at full throttle, feeding cool air directly into that hungry engine. By 1971, the horsepower started dropping across the board, and engines like the LS6 became dinosaurs overnight. Finding a real LS6 Chevelle today means sorting through countless clones and fakes because everyone wants to own a piece of that 1970 magic. Number 7, the 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona. Before the Superbird, there was the Daytona, and it was just as wild. Dodge needed to go faster at NASCAR's superspeedways, so they took the Charger and gave it a makeover that pushed the limits of what a street car could look like. That same kind of pointed nose cone and towering rear wing made the Daytona instantly recognizable and incredibly effective on the track. Dodge built 503 of them, just barely meeting NASCAR's requirements, and most came with the 440 Magnum engine, though you could get the 426 Hemi if you were serious about speed. The Daytona became the first NASCAR vehicle to break 200 miles per hour, achievement that put Dodge in the record books. Just like the Superbird that followed, dealers struggled to sell these aerodynamic oddities to regular customers who thought they looked too strange. Many sat on dealer lots for months, sometimes years, gathering dust, while their value plummeted. Now, a Hemi Daytona is one of the most sought-after muscle cars in existence, worth well over $1 million if you can even find one for sale.
Number 6. The 1971 Plymouth Hemi Cuda convertible. By 1971, the muscle car era was gasping its last breath, and Plymouth built what would become one of the rarest and most valuable American cars ever made. The Hemi Cuda convertible combined everything people loved about muscle cars: drop-top freedom, outrageous power, and styling that could stop traffic for blocks. Plymouth only built 7 of them in 1971, making it rarer than most exotic cars from Europe. The 426 Hemi engine was barely changed from its racing origins, with dual 4-barrel carburetors and enough torque to twist the chassis if you weren't careful. These cars were expensive when new, thirsty for premium fuel, and brutal to drive in traffic with their heavy clutches and stiff suspensions. When gas prices shot up and insurance companies started charging young people impossible rates for muscle cars, vehicles like the Hemi Cuda convertible became nearly impossible to sell. Most of the 7 that were built have been accounted for, locked away in climate-controlled garages and displayed at high-end car shows. If one ever comes up for auction, expect to see a price tag with 7 figures, possibly 8. Number 5. The 1969 Chevrolet Corvette ZL1. You already heard about the Camaro ZL1, but Chevrolet also put that same aluminum 427 engine into a very small number of Corvettes. Only 2 1969 Corvettes were built with the ZL1 engine from the factory, making them rarer than almost any other American performance car you can name. These weren't ordered by regular customers looking for a fast car. They were special builds, likely for racing teams or very well-connected buyers who knew what they were getting. The ZL1 Corvette was lighter than the regular big block models because of that aluminum engine, which meant it was even faster and more nimble through corners. With over 500 real horsepower in a car that weighed around 3,200 pounds, these Corvettes were absolute weapons on the street or track. Chevrolet never advertised the ZL1 option publicly. You had to know someone who knew someone just to order one. Today, both surviving cars are known to collectors, and neither has changed hands publicly in years. If one ever comes up for auction, expect to see a price tag with 7 figures, possibly 8.
Number 4. The 1970 Ford Torino King Cobra. Here's one that most people have never even heard of, and that's because it barely existed at all. Ford built a prototype called the Torino King Cobra in 1970, designed to compete with the Superbird and Daytona on NASCAR's superspeedways. It had a sloped nose, a massive rear wing, and styling that made it look ready to take flight. Ford planned to build 500 of them to meet NASCAR's homologation rules, but the project got canceled before production ever started. Some sources say Ford built only one complete prototype, while others claim a handful were assembled before the plug was pulled. NASCAR changed their rules, Ford lost interest, and the King Cobra became a footnote in racing history. That prototype, assuming it still exists, would be worth a fortune to the right collector, but nobody knows exactly where it is or who owns it. The King Cobra represents the ultimate what could have been in muscle car history, a reminder that not every great idea makes it to the finish line. Number 3. the 1969 Dodge Charger 500 Hemi. Before Dodge went wild with the Daytona, they built something a little more subtle but just as rare. The Charger 500 was Dodge's first attempt at making the Charger more aerodynamic for NASCAR, and it featured a flush-mounted grille and a rear window that sat flat against the roofline. Only 392 Charger 500s were built in total, and just 70 of those came with the mighty 426 Hemi engine. This was pure American muscle in a package that looked almost normal if you ignored the lowered stance and the aggressive rumble coming from the exhaust. The Charger 500 could hit 150 miles per hour on the long straights at Daytona and Talladega, making it one of the fastest production cars you could buy in 1969. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite aerodynamic enough to beat Ford on the super speedways, which is why Dodge went even crazier with the Daytona later that year. The Hemi-powered Charger 500s that survive today are incredibly valuable, often selling for over $500,000. They represent a brief moment when Dodge tried to win with subtle changes, before realizing that subtle wasn't going to cut it.
Number 2. The 1970 Oldsmobile 442 W30 convertible. Oldsmobile doesn't always get the respect it deserves in muscle car conversations, but the 442 W30 was absolutely the real deal. In 1970, Oldsmobile built what many consider the best handling muscle car of the entire era, especially in W30 trim, with its hotter camshaft, aluminum intake manifold, and functional ram air system. Getting one as a convertible made it even more special, and Oldsmobile only built 264 of them that way in 1970. These cars didn't have the raw horsepower numbers of a Hemi or an LS6, but they made up for it with balance, handling, and an engine that loved to rev. The 455 cubic inch V8 produced 370 horsepower officially, but like most muscle car engines of the era, the real number was probably higher. These convertibles were perfect for cruising on summer nights with the top down, yet they could still run with the best of them when the stoplight turned green. Oldsmobile stopped making muscle cars soon after, shifting to luxury and comfort as the 1970s wore on. Finding a W30 convertible today is extremely difficult, and prices keep climbing as collectors realize what they've been missing. Number 1. The 1969 Chevrolet Camaro COPO 9561. At the top of our list sits something truly special, a Camaro that was never supposed to exist. In 1969, Chevrolet had a rule that no car smaller than a full size could get an engine bigger than 400 cubic inches, but some clever dealers found a loophole. They used the Central Office Production Order System, COPO for short, to order Camaros with the massive L72 427 cubic inch engine, the same one used in Corvettes and full-size cars. Only 1,015 of these COPO Camaros were built, making them extremely rare from the start. These weren't luxury cruisers or show cars. They were built for one thing: going fast in a straight line. With 425 horsepower and massive torque, these Camaros could run the quarter mile in the low 13-second range right out of the box. Most were ordered without radios, heaters, or any other options that added weight, because every pound counted at the drag strip. The COPO program was Chevrolet's way of winking at racers while technically following their own rules. Today, a genuine COPO Camaro is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and every single one has a story about how it was ordered, who raced it, and how it survived when so many others were destroyed. These 10 cars represent something we'll probably never see again, a time when American car companies built machines purely for the joy of going fast. They didn't worry about fuel economy or safety ratings or making shareholders happy. They just wanted to win races and put smiles on faces. Most of these rare beauties are locked away now, preserved in collections and museums, rolling pieces of American history that occasionally show up at car shows to remind us what we once had. If you loved taking this trip down memory lane with us, hit that like button and let us know in the comments which one of these rare machines you'd want in your garage if money was no object.
And don't forget to subscribe, because we're always digging up more stories about the cars, the culture, and the glory days that made America what it is. Until next time, keep those memories alive.